I'd like to first of all thank Representative Jerry Knowles for his leadership on this issue. He's been working on this for a while, and appreciate Jerry putting this legislation forward that I can co-sponsor and join him in this effort to ensure that we have funding for our roads and bridges, because I, for one, certainly support additional money for our road and bridge needs across the Commonwealth. You know, the solution that so often you see from politicians to address funding concerns is to raise taxes. And in this instance, it's beyond my comprehension how anyone could begin to consider any new taxes without putting this $1 billion into roads and bridges. I mean, we're hearing the talk that the governor gave at the budget address to lift the cap off of the oil franchise tax, and we're seeing some estimates that could result in 28 cents more per gallon at the pump for consumers, a huge tax increase. And right now, it's the last thing we need. With so many people out of work across Pennsylvania, across the nation, the last thing we need to see is another burden on the taxpayers that are out there trying to get to their place of employment, trying to make ends meet. So this legislation offers an opportunity for us to bring more money into our roads, into our bridges, into those infrastructures that we need to improve. The problem with the governor's proposal with trying to advance this on behalf of the education establishment, to use the sale of the liquor stores to provide more money to education. And Representative Knowles mentioned about the black hole of the pension situation, or how it was going into a black pit. But when you give money to the education establishment like this, it's like throwing it into a black hole, because all it will be used for is to drive those salaries up that are continuing to be one of the main drivers for our pension problem. So the last thing we need to do is to create a new entitlement type of setup for our education establishment, giving them this money for a series of years that they'll then be depending on in future budgets. Will create a hole in their budget that they'll turn around and tell the state taxpayer they need more from them at the end of it. So the only logical way for us to utilize these funds is to ensure that they're going into infrastructure improvements, especially in the way of the roads and bridge needs that we have across the state of Pennsylvania. So once again, thank you, Representative Knowles, for your leadership, and I look forward to working with you to advance this excellent idea.